Yeah. I got some in my eyes. I can't see anything. I can't see if there's a dog here or not. Anybody got a dollar bill I can wipe the sweat out of my eyes?
Back in the late 1970s, Taxi turned New York's gritty garages into a sitcom family we still can't forget. Beneath the laughs and heartfelt goodbyes, strange real-life tales and behind-the-scenes twists fueled the chaos. Here come 10 facts about Taxi you never heard, counting down from the unexplained to the downright bizarre. Number 1. Taxi's finale didn't actually wrap anything up. Let's go back to one of TV's most quietly stunning moments, when Taxi ended without warning, grace, or closure. The Emmy-winning sitcom, full of blue-collar banter and New York grit, bowed out in 1983 after 5 boisterous seasons on ABC. But that final episode? It left its loyal audience feeling like they'd missed the last train. No character's fate was resolved, and familiar cabbies simply drifted off into the Manhattan night, their own lives untouched by a neat conclusion. ABC pulled the plug abruptly, tossing unscripted possibilities into the wastebasket overnight. Fans still analyze the surreal ending, Louis' ambiguous wink, Alex's restless shrug, searching for meaning in those final looks. Taxi's irreverent spirit survived its curtain call, a poignant reminder that sometimes stories like City Nights just fade to black. And so, we step out of the garage and into TV's next uncertain destination. Number 2. The theme song was an unused movie track. You hear those gentle piano notes, drifting over nighttime shots of yellow cabs. It's hard to imagine Taxi without Angela, Bob James's unforgettable theme. But here's the real kicker. The song was never meant for Taxi at all. Bob James wrote Angela for a TV movie that ended up fading into obscurity. When Taxi's producers sat down to pick a theme, Angela was swapped in at the very last minute, overtaking another track meant for the show. Somehow, its mellow jazz and wistful air became the perfect voice for late-night New York and the exhausted dreamers at the Sunshine Cab Company. First heard in 1978 on ABC, the song set Taxi apart from other sitcoms. It was both soothing and a little bit sad, inviting you to think about the lives behind every passing cab. Next time that melody floats in, maybe you'll hear the twist of fate hidden between its notes and wonder what other accidents shaped TV's golden age. Number 3. Rhea Perlman. Guest starred before Cheers. Before she became America's favorite wisecracking waitress on Cheers, Rhea Perlman was busy making waves on Taxi. She appeared in an impressive 7 episodes as Zena Sherman, who became Louis De Palma's girlfriend. Fans still remember the quirky chemistry between Zena and Louis, a spark that owed much to real life, since Perlman was actually married to Danny DeVito. Their playful banter, sharp timing, and genuine affection made Zena and Louis more than just comic relief. They brought warmth to the claustrophobic neon-lit world of the Sunshine Cab Company. Perlman's performance in 1980 and 1981 was so convincing that you could almost smell Louis' aftershave and feel Zena's exasperation.
Right. Okay, fine, have it your way.
This recurring role didn't just pave the way for her future stardom, it highlighted the cross-pollination of talent between 2 of television's most iconic sitcoms. It's one of those behind-the-scenes threads that makes rewatching Taxi a whole new experience, knowing who's waiting in the next cab. Number 4. Andy Kaufman's Foreign Man was written in. Picture a cramped garage, laughter bouncing off checkerboard floors, and a wild voice breaking through with pure unpredictability. That was Andy Kaufman in Taxi. But getting him on board took more than just a contract. Kaufman famously insisted he would join the cast of Taxi, which debuted on ABC in 1978, only if he could play Latka, a character spun directly from his own stand-up alter ego, the Foreign Man. The show's creators, desperate for his offbeat genius, agreed. But soon, Kaufman upped the ante. Latka's fractured English wasn't enough, so he launched into full streams of nonsensical gibberish. The writers and producers responded by inventing an entire make-believe language just for him. It confused the network, but for fans, it was pure delight. Whether he was bantering with Danny DeVito's Louis or mumbling in syllables no one could translate, Latka's world felt both utterly strange and warmly familiar. And with every baffling phrase, Kaufman reminded everyone that sometimes the weirdest characters leave the deepest imprint.
Thank you very much.
As the cabs rolled on, Taxi had officially become a stranger, funnier ride. Number 5. Taxi helped create Cheers, sort of. Imagine the creative energy buzzing in the writer's room after Taxi faded from the airwaves in 1983. Instead of packing up, Glenn and Les Charles, along with director James Burrows, took those hard-earned sitcom lessons and ran straight into TV history. They brought Taxi's clever ensemble focus and character-driven heart to a freshly minted bar in Boston, launching Cheers just a year later in 1982. You can trace the warm, witty banter between Sam and Diane right back to the oddball spark of Alex, Elaine, and especially the unforgettable Louis De Palma. The teamwork and humanity they honed over 5 Taxi seasons became the soul of Cheers, shaping not just jokes, but the way we saw working-class misfits. So, every time Norm orders a beer or Carla unleashes a signature zinger, that's the sound of Taxi's DNA echoing through television. Sometimes the road from the garage leads straight to the most welcoming bar in Boston. Next, the stories get even stranger. Grab your fare and follow along. Let's pause for a second. What's your favorite Taxi moment? Or did you prefer the cozy crowds of Cheers? Drop your most memorable character or scene below, and let's see which classic sitcom gets your vote. Number 6. Reverend Jim's entrance was a psychedelic gamble. Lights flickered and coffee pots perked as one of television's most peculiar characters stumbled into the Taxi garage. Christopher Lloyd's Reverend Jim first appeared in the second season with wild hair and wilder eyes, originally meant as little more than a single offbeat joke. But his legendary road test scene, chaotic, hilarious, and totally unpredictable, lit up audiences. Letters poured into the network. Viewers could not get enough of Jim's spaced-out answers and baffled grin. Producers, sensing magic, begged Lloyd to stick around. What was meant to be a forgettable guest spot in 1979 became central to the show's DNA. From then on, Taxi's regulars weren't just cabbies. They had Reverend Jim, the most unpredictable, lovable weirdo on network television. Sometimes the best TV legends are born not from careful planning, but from the electricity of a single moment. Number 7. Taxi's set was basically freezing. Take a closer look at those classic episodes of Taxi, and you might catch something odd. In the bustling New York setting of the Sunshine Cab Garage, actors often shivered between takes. That was no accident. The studio on the Paramount lot in Los Angeles kept the set at near refrigerator temperatures. Jackets and heavy coats littered the backstage area. Tony Danza, Judd Hirsch, and the rest of the crew would huddle together, trying to keep warm as their breath appeared in the air, a rare sight in a sitcom. Producers insisted the freezing conditions added realism, mirroring the bone-chilling winters cab drivers faced outside. You can even spot the frosty puffs escaping the actors' mouths in more than one scene. This bite of authenticity, especially during the first season in 1978, colored the mood of Taxi. The Sunshine Cab Garage became a character in its own right, grim, gritty, and honest to the city. The chill in the air reminded everyone, on screen and off, that real life was never far from make-believe. Next time you hear that theme tune, remember how cold comedy could be. Wasn't the first pick for Alex. Picture the smoky rehearsal rooms of late 1978, scripts in hand, the producers of Taxi searching for their lead. In a surprising twist, Jeff Conaway, who would become Bobby Wheeler, was actually the top choice for the role of Alex Rieger. It wasn't until Judd Hirsch's final audition that everything changed. Hirsch brought a quiet strength, a subtlety, and a dry wit that drew everyone in, grounding the wild energy that bubbled through the rest of the cast. Suddenly the show had its overlooked everyman, the Taxi cab's steady anchor surrounded by chaos from Louis to Reverend Jim. This last-minute casting choice redefined Taxi's soul, transforming it from a zany ensemble to a heartfelt character piece. When the theme song played on ABC, it was Hirsch's understated brilliance that kept viewers coming back. You can almost hear the rumble of cabs and see the weary wisdom in Alex's eyes, setting the stage for stories that made late nights just a little warmer. Number 9. Tony Danza really was a boxer before Taxi. Picture the clang of the bell and the thud of gloves in the ring. That wasn't just television magic on Taxi. Before he ever played lovable cabbie Tony Banta, Tony Danza was a real professional boxer. With 9 knockouts under his belt, Danza brought authentic grit and bruised-knuckle charm straight to the soundstage. The show's creators didn't just notice, they leaned right into it. They made Banta's scrappy fight career a running storyline, peppering the sitcom with some of the most realistic fight choreography in 70s TV. All those jabs, hooks, and victories you saw? They came from Danza's real experience diving into professional bouts before his Taxi audition in 1978. These scenes weren't just good acting, they were muscle memory. It gave the show a pulsing authenticity, a dose of sweat and struggle beneath the punchlines. The result was a character who felt grounded, tough, and endlessly genuine. Sometimes reality makes for the best TV. The bell rings. Let's see what other surprises were waiting around the next corner on set. Number 10. Danny DeVito's Postcard auditions from Taxi. You can almost hear the ruckus in the audition room. When Danny DeVito tried out for the role of Louis De Palma on Taxi in 1978, he didn't just read lines, he made an unforgettable first impression. Legend has it, DeVito stormed in, slapped the script down on the table, and demanded, "Who wrote this crap?" Instead of being offended, producers erupted in laughter. That raw energy and unapologetic edge convinced them that DeVito was the only man for the job. Louis wasn't just a dispatcher. He was the sharp-tongued, foul-tempered heart of the Sunshine Cab Company, and DeVito's bravado in that moment set the tone for his entire performance. Every time Louis barked orders out of his caged booth or cracked a wise remark, you felt echoes of that first fearless audition. Taxi went on to win Emmys and launch careers, but you can trace Louis' bite to a single, gutsy script slam, forever a part of sitcom folklore. Now, let's see what other backstage stories shaped this unforgettable show.
I don't give a rat's corpse whether you get a clean cabin.